Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, may have transferred power over to son amid concerns over his declining health. To discuss this in more detail is our foreign affairs expert, Lisa Daftari, joining me once again from Los Angeles. Lisa, because of this, his son taking over, will it really make much difference to us here in the Western world?
Everybody's been waiting for the announcement of Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran's death, and it has been rumored so many times and debunked so many times. And this is the first time we actually have some indication that there is a change at the very top. And that's what the real news is here. Will there be a real change because his son is now taking over? Look, the short of it is that this is a theocracy. It's not, you don't have real elections. You don't have a real variety in candidates. And the supreme leader, of course, his son, will keep the same, the same harsh, barbaric regime going because that's what's worked for them for over 40 years. So there won't be much of a difference in the way that the Islamic Republic has been run. But I think a lot of people are waiting to see, well, a new generation, is he just a bit more, lenient than his father was, I wouldn't hold my breath on this one.
U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the Pentagon to remove the majority of U.S. military troops out of Somalia. Now, the order changes the mission American troops originally had to assist the Somali military in its fight against an al-Qaeda affiliated terrorist group.
Yes, so they were there to fight Al-Shabaab, which is a splinter group of Al-Qaeda. And the White House has been very, very careful to say that even though we are restructuring our approach to having forces in Africa, this is not a complete withdrawal from the continent. And that is quite important because it has seemed that the US and the free world, for that matter, has really abandoned Africa. And that is why these terror organizations have been so easily have been really prying upon the vulnerability of the continent there. So this is just a restructuring. We're bringing home the troops from Somalia, and we will revisit the strategy that we are applying in that continent.
As China is seen stepping up its military activity, the United States, Britain, and France will conduct military drills with Japan next year amid concerns over security in the East and South China Seas. Everyone's starting to flex their muscles again.
Yeah, this is a fear that China is overexerting itself and showing a very, very extreme assertiveness in that part of the world, not only with their activity in the East and South China Seas, but also with Hong Kong, with their own minority groups in China, with a awful human rights record over there, and of course with its lack of transparency and with regards to the virus there. So, the rest of the world is sitting back and thinking, well, we can't let China go on much further. So the Europeans, the US, all combining forces with Japan, the UK sending its forces there as well. It's time for the West to show China that they will put up with and answer to any of its calls for domination in that part of the world.
Lisa, recent reports says China's Air Force has major troubles, including bad engines. Officials say many of China's new warplanes are simply underpowered and that they may be looking at borrowing technological solutions from the US or Russia.
Yeah, well, that's long been the case, right? So we always looked at China before they put out their products and said, look, they're doing copycat technology. They take or capture drones and other tech, whether it's the supply side or the software side, they're stealing secrets, they're doing cyber attacks, they're doing whatever they can to get their hands on intelligence and technology, all of that before they create the product. Now we're looking at it from the other end. Once the product is out, it's faulty, and they're warning the consumers of these products against purchasing from China. Look, all around the world, we are warning people from doing business with China for many reasons, and here is yet another one that they are putting out faulty products, and these are important intelligence products. So buyer beware.
A new report from the National Academies of Sciences and Engineering says that radio frequency energy of radiation that includes microwaves was the likely culprit that caused American diplomats in China and Cuba to fall ill over the past 4 years.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on the story at the foreign desk. This is a mystery that, we don't want to drop the ball on. In 2016 and 17, we had reports of diplomats and their families that were sent over to China and Cuba. They were coming back with these neurological problems that are ongoing to this day. They are suffering with these problems, and there were no answers. There was no accountability, but there were a lot of questions though. And now the reports indicate, without any accusation, how I must say the report said there's zero accusation on this, but they did come back saying that these are waves, including microwaves, that were in a pulsated fashion, not a random way. And these individuals were exposed to that. So the only recommendation that is included in that report is that from here on out, whenever we do send diplomats out, that we make sure that they are not exposed and do our best to have the home country promise that they will take good care of the diplomats sent over.
It appears as though a COVID-19 relief bill is in the works and may be passed very soon in the United States. So how much help can American small business owners expect? 100 billion, 200, 300 billion dollars? What are you
Oh,
hearing?
fingers crossed. We had Monica Crowley, the spokesperson for the Treasury, on my podcast last week, and she sounded extremely hopeful. The good news for small businesses is that there is money in the pot, and that's what she emphasized on the show, saying that the only thing that's standing in the way of small business owners getting that money is, left and right, Democrats and Republicans not coming to an agreement, not coming to a consensus, and what, at the expense of the American small business owners. Here in the United States, we have a very, very important debate going on. It's the big box retailers like Target and Walmart and Amazon that are doing tremendously well during this pandemic, and who's suffering? The restaurant owners, the salon owners, the mom and pop shops who have had to close their doors all this time and really suffer financially. So we're trying to even that playing field and to give this relief to small business owners so that they can get back up on their feet and to be back in that competitive world once again.
So do we have a number? Is it like close to $200 billion? What have you heard?
I haven't heard a number, but Monica did sound very, very confident that there is a good amount of money and that the small business owners will be very happy once that bill is announced. And we also were told that it might even be within a week. So that was Thursday. We might hear something this week. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, much needed help for a lot of small business owners, absolutely. Lisa, the head of cybersecurity in the United Arab Emirates, said that the Gulf state has suffered countless cyber attacks on its financial sector, and officials say it was likely due mainly to the UAE agreeing to normalize ties with Israel.
Right. If you remember back in September when the UAE and Bahrain became signatory to the Abraham Accords, and that was normalizing relations, economic and otherwise, with Israel, they became the target of the Shiite forces in the region. And obviously, that is led by the Iranian regime that said our new target in the region is not just Israel and throughout the world. It used to be the big Satan and the little Satan. The USA and Israel were the targets, their targets. But now it's become also the UAE. And why is that? Because the UAE has positioned itself to be the new economic hub, the new moderate force in the region that has made nice with Israel. And all of a sudden, they are looking at the UAE as turning its back on the other Arab nations, but that's not really the case. Looking forward, there will be more Arab countries to sign along with the United Arab Emirates to the Abraham Accords to normalize relations with Israel and, in effect, turn their back on the Iranian regime. So these cyber attacks are just a warning to the United Arab Emirates, but going down the line, the Iranian regime will be the minority, and the moderate Arab countries will thankfully be the majority in the region.
Now, speaking of cyber attacks, Lisa, a former cybersecurity chief says Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are trying to steal the coronavirus vaccine. Tell me more about that.
Yes, this has been ongoing. And now that we are on the 1 yard line with regards to having a vaccine be very widely available to the rest of the world, you have these rogue nations saying, well, if we can't get it the real way, we're going to steal it, just like everything else, how they steal all of that intelligence, and they'll steal the technology and the software and the apps. They even have a fake Starbucks in these countries. So, it's not surprising that they'd want to get their hands on the technology, on the science, and to also have a vaccine of their own so they don't have to buy from Pfizer or anyone else here in the West.
The United Kingdom is gearing up for its very large vaccination plan this week. And Lisa, the whole world is watching.
The whole world is watching because who's going to be next? So the UK became first to sign off on the vaccine, and I think it's about 800,000 vaccines that they have, and they have basically triaged their health workers and the elderly population to go first and to get the vaccine. The rest of the world watching to see how this goes. I know, Hal, you and I both have our questions and doubts about this, and look, on the one hand, everyone's waiting for the vaccine to go back to life as usual. On the other hand, people have questions. Well, you want to inject yourself with a new science, with a new technology, for a new virus. So I think everybody's waiting to see what the effects will be of the UK's plan of attack.
Absolutely, keeping a close eye on that. Lisa, let's take it back to small business for just a moment here in North America. One of the videos which has gone viral on YouTube right now is of this woman that owned a restaurant, and right beside a restaurant in Southern California, there were a whole bunch of tents set up, makeshift tables, because they were a movie set, I guess the producers were setting up and had everything lined up for all of the staff to be able to eat there, yet her business is shut down.
I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here.
Oh, absolutely. How interesting that you bring up this viral video. I actually spoke with this woman, and I connected her to CBS Local here in Southern California because I just thought it was so compelling. I got goosebumps when I watched her video, like many others have. She tells the story well, and there are so many others who have the same story. She is suffering. She has become devastated by this pick and choose approach here in California, where restaurants have to shut down, but malls are open, for example. You can't dine. It was open air dining only, by the way, so you can't dine in open air anymore, but you can go into a Home Depot, or you can go into the mall, or you can go into a Target. Yeah, pick and choose. And there's so many businesses that have been so badly devastated. When you drive through the main parts of Los Angeles here, it's like driving through a war-torn country, a war-torn city. And the mayor here in Los Angeles, the governor of California, they're deaf. They're deaf. They're not hearing the people like this woman in the video, who are suffering, and asking them to really reassess the situation and to make decisions that really affect people's livelihoods. I know there's a virus. We know that it's dangerous. We know that the numbers are spiking, but let's make decisions that won't have other side effects and won't affect people's livelihoods as well as their lives and their health. So it's really a very important debate. I think people are extremely upset at the decisions that are being made here, and believe that they're very irresponsible when it comes to deciding on people's lives.
Bottom line is we have to support our small business owners around North America.
Absolutely.
Our foreign affairs expert, Lisa Daftari, joining me once again from Los Angeles, California. Thank you, Lisa.
My pleasure.
On behalf of all of us here at Bridge City News, I'm Hal Roberts. God bless, and thanks for watching.